Welcome to Hive AV. This will be a short overview going over the Hive AV app version 1.7. So let's do a factory reset. And what I'm going to do is run through all the basic setup and show off some of the big features from this release. All right, so let's do a factory reset. And I've already backed up my data, so I can simply restore my program once we're done. Let's start at the very top with Versa and Auto Discover. And I like to arrange these for myself. And you can do that just by pressing and holding and moving the items to where you want them. So yeah, for the coders, it's going to be a little bit different. I want stuff to show up because it's going to show it as far as 6. So I'm going to, I want my video wall on the right, and I'm going to want 2 displays on the left. And so it'll show it up. It'll make more sense. And we actually, I think I could probably just show it right there. So you can kind of see the 2 displays on the left, and then my video wall on the right there. So we have the Versa set up. Let's go to MC 200 real quick, and you'll notice we have new little switches up here at the top. On Versa, it's the default switch, and this is the default video wall. And when you save the MC 200, it'll enable that video wall or presentation switcher interface that we'll see on the end user in a moment. Eventually, this is going to support Versa for a 2x2 video wall, but that'll be a couple of releases from now. So yeah, the biggest part of this release is that we out the old switch that was here, and now we have this what's called default switch, and that way you can have one switcher, you can add multiple switchers, and you get one switcher that's the default. And so that's one of the big features of this, and I'll kind of go over that in a sec. All right, so let's add a camera, and I'm doing this so that we can show the 3 icons, the 3 main icons that you'll have at any given point. And you'll have a switcher, a video wall, and then a camera. And you can see this is our new default switcher activity, and this is also going to have a lot more going on. I'm going to go ahead and set the Samsung as my default audio device. I have this connected to an amplifier, and I'm going to set up just C control for my 2 displays. And all right, just like that, I have my switchers set up, camera, audio, power, everything we need to go. And now we can go do a little quick preview of this over here, and you can see right now it's in the off state. I'm just turning it on, and on first startup, it shows how everything is routed. But I haven't saved the last route. So the way this works is when you select the source on the right, I say PC, nothing is routed to PC right now. I can just simply route all these to PC. And you'll see that route is there, and it's saved, just like the levels down here are saved. So when I change activity, or when I change to the video wall, here's our video wall right here, MC200, or to the camera, and when I go back here, you see that the last route is still selected. I'm gonna change this up a little bit. I'm gonna do this, and undo this. And you can see how that works. And this last route gets saved. It's one of the new features, so that the user always comes back and they'll always see what they routed last, as well as what's currently routed, right? The Fire TV is going to the top left, the top and the bottom left. And if I select Fire TV, you can see those 2 get selected. And the same with the PTZ camera and Google, right? So this is great, and very pretty buttons. I'm sure these are kind of look like displays, but part of what was built was this mechanism where you can have multiple switchers added, and then you can decide which one will be on the end user interface, and maybe you have those other switchers added so that you can either use them for level control or to call presets or something like that, right? So those are common use cases there. We'll go back over here, and now we'll add a TRK1. And now we'll save, and here we go. So now you can see once I saved that, it became the default switcher, right? And you can see over here in activities there it is. It's now selected before it was Versa. So just so you know, this will later be populated with a lot of different settings where you're going to be able to map, show inputs, select the icons for the sources, and change labels for stuff. But that's coming in the next couple of releases. Now, if we go to the end user interface, you'll see, oh, look at this. Now we have a different interface. We have the TRK1 as our switcher instead of the Versa. And before, the way it worked was that each device you added, whether it was a MC200, which is a video wall, or any of our switchers, it would just keep adding icons here. And it really didn't make sense because typically you only need one switcher for any given system. And there was no way to hide those from the interface if you didn't want them to show. So that was of the big feature sets. Let's go back to Versa now, and I'm going to show you the interface because it's dynamic, what it looks like with more and what it looks like with less, right? So I'm going to come back into the Versa and I'm going to make it our default switch. And then I'm just going to make copies of these so that we can have more than we actually need. Yeah, and in theory, you could have 100 encoders and 100 decoders. If the switch supports it, the interface will support it. And this will just scroll down the more that you add, and the same with decoders, and the same with the switching interface, right? Once we get over a certain point, we'll just be scrolling, right? And we'll see that in a sec. Okay, so now we have a bunch of encoders and decoders, way more than actually exist, but this is just to kind of show you what it'll look like when we have a bunch of sources. See over here on the right, just scrolls. And then we have our scrolling list right here. And you can see once Google's TV or any source is selected, then you're able just to keep selecting as many displays as you want. This is a very efficient way of switching. If I had to drag and drop, I would have to drag this over 9 times or 10 times to get it to work. And instead, I'm easily able to just select a source and then go ahead and change out those individual those routes. And you see it's routing right now. So let's go back to our default. Oh, and this time we'll do less. To make things easy, I'm just going to do a restore. And now when I come back over here, we have the normal number of encoders and decoders. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of some of the encoders, just a couple, just so you can see what it looks like. We'll just do 4. So I have a nice solid 4, and then we'll do 4 decoders. So when you have up to 4, then the interface is going to only have 2 rows, and it's going to make everything look a little bit bigger. So now you can see I have 4 nice sized displays on the right, and all my sources on the left still. And you can see that, and that follows that. Well, it looks very nice. And it's taking up a good amount of the interface instead of it looking odd. This is a common situation where you have 4x4, like our HSM 4x4, 44. And this is what that would look like. Going back right to our settings, let's lower it down to just 1, right? A 4x1. That would be kind of like the TRK1, and that's what the interface will look like eventually once we port over all these changes. So I'll just come in here. We're just gonna get rid of everything except for 1. Okay, now we got 4 to 1. I'm gonna come back over here. And you can see how dynamic it is. We have 1 display. And right now you do have to select source and then select display, but this will change. Eventually it'll just be a straight switcher, and you'll just have to select a source, and it automatically will switch that display because there's only 1 display, right? We don't really need to do these 2 clicks. But for right now, this is where we're at with the UI. But these changes are coming, and they're coming quick. And the next release will have this instant switching and routing when it's many to 1. And this interface will be available for the TRK1 and some of the other switchers whenever you only have 1 output and multiple inputs. Great. Thanks for joining me, and I hope this was informative.